In the book that is my memory, among the mess and the lost pages, there is a section that starts in secret La Vita Nuova, where everything is present and clear. It is from here I want to pull for you a story, if not all the words, at least its missive. Nine times the heavens turned since my birth when I saw her the first time. They called her Beatrice, but they had no concept of her revelation, her ability to inspire. My body surrendered to that first vision of her, something I would not feel again for another 9 years. I belonged to her. But the tragedy played out in my mind, a premonition she was not long for this world. Love would bring me to her, but death would take her away. I stole the vision I beheld. In secret, I traced her beauty with my eyes, unable to bring myself to approach her. My ardor for her was so strong but so restrained that other women thought it was for them. And I let them. I let them think it was them so I could keep my passion a secret, because that was all that was mine. My mind was not my own. It belonged to love, and he guided me. Love was often beleaguered and battled and exhausted, a traveler who was witness to a series of mortal tribulations. He advised me but stood by as I watched her in pain, distanced and intimidated, behind the veils of other women, false relationships to protect my frail heart. People talked vicious gossip about imagined circumstances that I could not control without risking the pain of the truth. Her greeting to me was something ethereal. Her recognition of me sent my heart into fits. It was the only interaction my body could withstand. Being in the same room with her brought my body to a standstill, as if every organ in me stopped working in order to take in her vision. My knees buckled, my blood prickled, my eyes would ache with their persistence. So her greeting when she passed, that briefest of interactions, to me. But when she heard these rumors, the pain of that stolen moment drained me. I was burdened again. I forgot what the lightness felt like in the absence of a recognition. Just as quickly as love brought me the ethereal feeling of floating, he ripped it away from me. Suddenly I realized I was yoked and being dragged. I called out to him, begging for guidance, to which he responded I was to lay aside this counterfeiting. The guidance left me just as confused. I found myself at a crossroads. Instead of taking one path or the other, whether to confess or continue to watch her through the veils of other women, I fell on my knees and did nothing. At least this way, my ardor could persist in the potential. So it continued. Once I appeared in the same room as her and found myself frozen in her presence, my eyes fixed in a pain reverberating within my frail body, increasing in oscillations as her friends noticed and mocked me. She listened to them. She saw me. So why am I setting myself up for disaster? If I can't be in a room with her without suffering some sort of disfigurement, why seek her presence? Because she is that beautiful. She is that remarkable. My longing was obvious, and, soon, many people knew my suffering and the woman for whom I pined. I spoke of her constantly, her presence in my life clear even if she was physically absent. But our connection was limited. On the day her father died, I stood outside, as close to her as I could. People lamenting the bitter sadness she felt at the loss of a parent. A friend noted as she passed me that she was so pitiful that she might succumb to her grief. Beatrice could die. She will die. This is a thought that clouded my mind. I fell sick shortly after the funeral, an illness that lasted 9 days. I had fitful dreams of angels and death, lamentations and prayers. By the time I came out of it, the thought racked my heart so harshly that I wasn't sure from which I was more weak, the disease, or confronting the possibility that Beatrice will leave this world. A short time after recovering from my illness, Beatrice succumbed to her own, and she was gone. My words could never do her justice, could never eulogize her properly. Everything I do is unworthy of her. So instead, according to Tom, and also to the Christian narrative, the revolving heaven is 9. According to the common opinion among astrologers, these 9 heavens together influence both the earth. Wherefore it would appear that the city was widowed on that day. Life left its streets, and those that continued met my derision. Don't they know what they lost? The city sits solitary, desolate, and spoiled without her, and the pain sits in my heart, the burden stronger on me. A year later, I came to myself drawing anxious. When people came to me, looking over my shoulder, I stood up to greet them and hoped they'd excuse my lack of awareness. I told them another was with me. Her image continued to pour from my fingers.
Beatrice.
Even after so much time had passed, I still felt the guilt and the pain of her passing. Any spark with another woman was snuffed. Even the argument that love brought a woman to me, just as he had brought Beatrice, was silenced, as vile and repugnant in the face of someone so commanding of my respect. My mind ran through my memories of her, and I fell deeper and deeper. So often was I tearing at my eyes from sadness that they were red like old paintings of martyrs. I quickly fell apart all over again, shouting to anyone, no matter the tangential or completely absent knowledge of Beatrice, to realize the loss this world suffered. But it was through the sadness that I came upon a revelation. A moment of clarity.
Beatrice.
And suddenly I was moved to say nothing else about her until I could devote that labor to something greater. And I put everything I can into working toward this end, and she knows it. She who will forever look upon the countenance of he who will be blessed throughout the ages.